Good evening and welcome to the Sports Showcase event on Harford TV. I'm Don Morrison. My great pleasure tonight to be in the dry. I should add that before we start. It's a drizzly, rainy, windy, nasty, otherwise perfect night for soccer in Havre de Grace, the River City. The Warriors, the host team, taking on the Aberdeen Eagles, a battle of two Hatem Division teams. Both teams looking for their first win of the year. Havre de Grace starting 0-2. They've lost to Patterson Mill and to Rising Sun. Aberdeen, on the other hand, I should say Edgewood, on the other hand, defeated Aberdeen by 5-2. They tied with Dundalk. Let me try that one more time. They lost to Aberdeen by 5-2. They tied Dundalk 2-2. Interestingly, last night, the Warriors were playing the Aberdeen Eagles, and at halftime, the Lightning came and they called the game 0-0, so they'll play that game again tomorrow night. Just about ready now for the opening announcements of the players. The Havre de Grace Warriors, the home team, dressed in their maroon uniforms with the white numerals. Edgewood in the white with the red. Edgewood coached by Tim Baldwin in his fourth year. Carlos Alvarez, the assistant coach, in his third year. Meantime, for Havre de Grace, the head coach is Jeff Burtney. The assistant coach is Addie Play. Addie in his eighth year. Addie will be taking over tonight because, unfortunately, Jeff Burtney has to be at a memorial for a member of his family. Introducing now the starting team for the Edgewood Rams. Sebastian Ayala, number 1, a senior. Number 10 is Markin Mensah. Markin Mensah, he's a senior as well, one of the attack people.
Number 11, senior
Japheth Agbesi is number 11, a senior for the Edgewood Rams. There you see him.
12, sophomore Victor Finley.
That's Victor Finley, number 12. He is a sophomore.
Number 16, senior Jesus Hernandez.
Jesus Hernandez, number 16, is a starter, one of the seniors, also a defenseman.
17, junior Dominic
Reckford is a junior, number 17.
Number 19, junior
Emir Cardenas, number 19, the junior.
Number 22,
play one of the midfield positions.
Landy.
Eric Landy is number 22. He's a junior. He'll be on the attack.
23, sophomore Jonathan Otis Savage.
That's Jonathan Otis, number 23, the sophomore.
Baldwin and Carlos Alvarez.
And the coaches, as we mentioned, Robert Ranieri, Scott Ryan are the officials tonight. The coaches are Tim Baldwin and Chris Alvarez. Now for the Havre de Grace Warriors, their starting lineup. Number 4, Aiden McRoberts. He's a senior. Matthew Rutherford, also a midfielder, also a senior. The two seniors on the team. Nate Burton is number 6. He's a junior.
Number 9, junior Caleb Scarborough.
Caleb Scarborough is a junior, number 9, one of the attackmen.
10, sophomore Noah Beelman.
Noah Beelman, sophomore. Notice a lot of sophomores, a couple of freshmen on this team.
Larson Stevens. Number 12,
Larson Stevens, a sophomore, number 11.
number 13, junior Troy Bradenberg.
That's number 17, just announced.
Number 15, junior Gabe.
15 is Gabe Bravo, number 15, a junior.
Number 22, freshman Owen Hausman. And
22 is Owen Hausman.
sophomore Ashton Ogle.
And Ashton Ogle, he'll be in the goal. He's number 88, just a sophomore. They say he's young, but very talented.
And gentlemen, remove your hats for honoring our country with the national anthem.
And now to honor our country, here is our national anthem. And that is our national anthem. I think you've noticed already the beauty of this field at Havre de Grace. It is the James R. Harris Memorial Field, built mostly through the contributions of people in the community. This entire bleacher area where we are and the press box, all done out of donations. Rich Holly, the late and great Rich Holly, who was the head of the fundraising program here at Havre de Grace, that put this all together. Very, very great place to be. And again, want to thank Heather Crawford, the athletic director, for all of her hospitality to make it very comfortable for us to be here, even though it is not a great night. Not a whole lot of rain. It's rained all day, sometimes hard. Right now it's just drizzling. The wind is a little bit, I don't know, it comes and goes. Sometimes there are gusts that the wind is pretty strong from left to right. Other times there's not much wind at all. Edgewood again in the white visiting uniforms. They'll be going from left to right across your TV screen. Havre de Grace in the maroon uniforms. They'll be going from right to left. Havre de Grace 4-8 last year. Aberdeen 5-7. They played each other twice. They split 1-1. Again, if you're looking for comparisons, last night the Edgewood Havre de Grace got rained out, got lightning out against Aberdeen. It was nothing and a half. And meantime, Edgewood had lost to Aberdeen by 5-2. Don't know if that means anything, but that's the only common opponent that we can talk about right now. Just about ready to start. Edgewood will put it in play. Rams again going from left to right. 40-minute halves in high school boys soccer. Just underway. That's Amir Cardenas, number 19, the Edgewood player in the middle. Havre de Grace now takes over, looking for an offensive surge. Gets the ball into the attack area. That's Noah Beelman, number 10, loses the ball momentarily. It's going to go out of bounds. The blue line is the out of bounds in the soccer game here. Here comes Edgewood on the move, intercepted by the Havre de Grace Warriors. By the way, our partner Ray Ruse, hope he's watching us on TV, couldn't be here tonight. He's got a physical situation. He wants to be here, couldn't be here, so we send our best to Ray Ruse. Ball kicked into the deep zone. Goalie lets it go right out of bounds. Edgewood's goalie is Marlon Davis. Marlon, a junior. Check it, that was the Havre de Grace goalie. That's Ashton Ogle, number 88, the sophomore goalie.
Yellow line, sir, yellow line.
Just about a minute and a half into the game. Neither team with a scoring opportunity just yet. Nice long throw in. Intercepted by the Edgewood Rams and kicked out of bounds, so it'll go back over to Havre de Grace. Troy Vandenberg, number 13 for the Havre de Grace Warriors, throwing that ball in. Out of bounds it comes. It'll go back to Edgewood. Throw in leading him down that near sideline. Kicks it back out of bounds. Again, neither team with a scoring opportunity just yet. Feeling each other out. Bit of a contact, no penalty call, trying to curl the ball into the attack area, not able to do so. It'll be a goal kick coming up from Havre de Grace. A few Brave fans have braved the weather here, umbrellas out. Again, sometimes the rain stops and then it picks up, and sometimes it's a little harder, mostly a nasty little drizzle here at Havre de Grace. Warriors to put the ball in play. It's Matthew Rutherford. Matthew, 11 years playing the game, a 2-year starter. Played goalie and then was moved into the field, a Taekwondo black belt. So Matthew Rutherford, number 5, is the kind of guy you don't really want to provoke, I would assume. Kicking the ball out. Warrior goalie Ogle. Ogle is a sophomore. Told by the coaching staff that he's young, but don't underestimate him. He's very talented. 7 returning players for Havre de Grace. Warriors suffered a couple of very bad breaks. First of all, their do-everything freshman, Mohamed El Marcy, out for the year. He 5 minutes into the first scrimmage game, he tore his ACL. And then last spring, Garrett Gladfelter, who's a senior now, was a junior then, tore his ACL in lacrosse. So they've got two players they were counting on to be key to the team that are not available to coach Jeff Berthney. Jeff Berthney, interesting case, played at Aberdeen High School for the late Terry Coldall way back there in the 1970s. He's coached here at Havre de Grace in two stints from 96 to 04 and then again from 2016 until the present. So he said unable to be here tonight because of a death in the family, a memorial service for his sister. Taking over for him is Addy Play. Addy is a young man from Bosnia. During the war-torn era, he escaped with his family to Germany, came to the States back in '99. Here's a chance. The shot, and it's deflected. Great job coming out, Marlon Davis, the Edgewood goalie, to thwart that attempt. He did everything he could and the only thing he could, and that is coming out on the 1-and-1, being able to deflect the ball out of play. Addy Play, back to him a moment. He lives in the south of France for most of the year, comes over to the U.S. to coach as an assistant here at Havre de Grace just for during the soccer season. He told me before the game that he was watching them practice and saw some things that he thought they could do better. That's about 8 years ago. And somebody said, well, if you think that you could teach them something, why don't you volunteer to coach? And he did. Proving the old adage, don't speak up unless you're willing to, put something behind that speech. And he's done just that. Throw in coming, Havre de Grace. You see a little over 5 minutes into the game. Taken by Edgewood. Now taken back by Havre de Grace. Battle at midfield. There's a shove, and the officials will call it. Robert Ranieri and Scott Ryan doing the officiating. That's Scott Ryan here on the near side, Robert Ranieri on the far side. Glad you could be with us here from Havre de Grace. The River City. Havre de Grace, a 1A school, 1A in terms of population. Edgewood is a 3A school. They do play together in the Hatem division, so at the end of the year, they could be, the ball bounces off the goalie, but picked up without a problem, Marlon Davis. They could be playing for the Hatem division championship. If you're not familiar, they've now divided the UPBAC into 3 divisions, the Hatem, the Susquehanna, and the Tidings. 5 teams in each group, Cecil County and Harford County. They'll take the 3 division winners plus the best record from the teams that don't win a division title, and they'll play a 4-team playoff at the end of the year. Just started that system last spring during the baseball and lacrosse seasons, and it worked out very well. Hatem division, Singleton Wright, Havre de Grace, North Harford, Harford Tech, and Edgewood. That's the teams in the Hatem division. Throw in coming from Havre de Grace. Edgewood playing a nice strong defense so far. Clearing the ball. Good defensive play. Nice job by Gabe Bravo. Gabe Bravo, number 15. We're told he is a player to watch, told by the Havre de Grace coaching staff. By the way, he has the only goal of the year scored by Havre de Grace. That was against Patterson Mill in the opening game of the year, a 5-1 loss. They then lost to Rising Sun by 3-0. Both teams looking for their first win of the year. Aberdeen does have a tie against Dundalk last Thursday. Lost to Aberdeen by a 5-2 score on Monday. We mentioned that Havre de Grace was playing Aberdeen last night when the Lightning came, and they called the game at halftime, 0-0. They'll replay the game in its entirety tomorrow night. So back-to-back games by the Warriors against 2 of their Route 40 opponents, Edgewood tonight and Aberdeen tomorrow night. Going out of bounds. Edgewood will have the ball. Nice throw in. Knocked out of bounds by Havre Grace. Coming up on the 31-minute mark left in the first half. Warriors looking to advance it. It was Owen Hausman, number 22, another player to watch according to the coach. Owen is just a freshman. 2 freshmen on this team, both of them very talented. Goalie comes out, makes a nice save. Goalie Ashton Ogle, the sophomore. Larson Stevens, another player to watch, number 11 for Havre Grace, just a sophomore, played almost every minute last year as a freshman. Good job by goalie Davis, drew the offensive player in. Almost a takeaway. They do say he kept it in bounds. Centering the ball, looking for the shot. Good job by Edgewood. Oh, the Rams almost kicked that ball into their own goal. That would have been tragedy. Looks like he was trying to meet it back to his goalie, Davis. Kicked the ball out of play. That'll come up a corner kick. First corner kick we've seen, I believe. Trying to bend that ball in right in front of the net. Nope, he's going to take the short route. Passes the ball back, the old give and go. There's a shot scooped up by goalie Davis. Good ball, but right at the goalie. Davis was able to get down and catch it on the first bounce. Boots it out past midfield. Out of bounds. Havre Grace ball, they'll throw it in. Goes out of bounds again. I think it will, retained by Havre Grace. I think this will be a throw in. Yep, it is, and that'll be Aiden McRoberts, number 4. Yep, he gives the ball off to his teammate. That's Hausman. Ball in front of the net. Looking to try to get a shot off. Good job by Edgewood defensively. Keeping it in. Ground ball is going to be just a bit wide. Kick kept low. Good job by Havre Grace keeping it out of the air. It was Ryden Graham, number 17 in the ball game for Havre Grace, who took that shot. Ended up being a little wide right. Warriors, Edgewood, whistle blown. It's going to say Edgewood ball, or no, check it, Havre Grace ball. Officials making the call, Robert Ranieri, Scott Ryan. Free kick coming up from the 40. Goalpost net, I should say, on the in line of what would be the football in line. High, long kick. Headed over the, hits the goalpost of the football goalpost. That was a brilliant play. Almost got the header to go in, but kept it a bit high. Davis kicking it away. Got a nice foot, does Davis, the junior. Goes out of bounds. It'll go to Havre Grace. Warriors been on the attack most of the game. Had a couple of opportunities. Nothing remotely close to being scoring. Oh yes, the railroad traffic and the River City. Always fun. Taken away by Havre Grace. Railroad tracks, 2 of them passing through Havre Grace, very close to the stadium here. James R. Harris Field. They tore down the old high school, built a new high school, but this complex, the athletic complex, remains as part of the old school. The new school that's behind us, where we are in the press box, a brand new middle high school, beautiful school, built about 5 years ago. Brad Spence, the principal. Good job by Edgewood to keep it out of there. Officials are going to blow the whistle. Let's see what that's all about. Going to give the ball back to Edgewood. Here come the Rams. Dominic Reckford, number 17 with the ball. Reckford maintains possession. He'll throw it in. Looking for his teammate. Bounces over his head. Recovered by Havre. Warriors Gabe Bravo. Again, the only goal scored all year so far by Havre. That's scored by Bravo, I should say. Excuse me, great Gabe. He scored that goal against Patterson Mill in that 5-1 loss. Edgewood looking to set something up. Nice long kick. Oh, nice job coming out and making the save. Ashton Ogle, really not a save, wide of the goal, but he made sure it didn't bounce off. Went down on one knee. You know, we're talking about the weather, and the ball gets kind of slick. So if you're a goalie, that's one thing you got to look out for. Don't assume that the ball will stay in your hands. Coming out, Davis kicks it back. Good reversal of the field, but Havre takes possession. Here come the Warriors. That's Larson Stevens, number 11. Ball kicked back. Ogle coming out. Gets it to his man. Here come the Warriors. Bravo again. Warriors. Possibility. That's a go out of bounds. And it will go to the Warriors. Keeping it in bounds. The ball looked like it may have gone out of bounds, but the official said no. Here comes Havre, a chance. Good pass. Unable to convert, though. Warriors had 3 players on the move. Keeping the pressure on. Retrieved there by Davis. Jesus Hernandez, Jonathan Otis, and Victor Finley on the defensive end for Edgewood. Midfielders Japheth Abessi, Amir Cardenas, and Dominic Reckford. Eric Landy, Marlon Mensa, and Eric Navarrete. Navarrete, number 8. Comes Edgewood now. Looking to get something through. Ball kicked up and over. Out of play it goes, and Havre will put it back in play. Coming up close now to the halfway mark of the first period. Neither team with really a scoring opportunity that was anywhere closely to becoming a goal. Warriors keeping possession. That was Aiden McRoberts, number 4, left-footed out of there. Comes Stevens, number 11. With the ball, Stevens. Good footwork. Hits his man. Nope. Taken away by Edgewood. Good job by the Rams. They give that Ram defense been very stout. Good job fending off Gabe Bravo. Able to fend off the Edgewood player. Bravo just a junior. Tony Brandenburg, a junior. Sophomore Larson Stevens, they on the defensive end, along with sophomore Ashton Ogle. Midfield, Matthew Rutherford, number 5, and Aiden McRoberts, number 4, the 2 seniors at midfield. Noah Beelman, a sophomore. Owen Hausman, a freshman, the freshman, number 22. Front line for Havre, Nate Burton, number 6, Landon Bell, number 12, and Caleb Scarborough, number 9. 7 returning players from last year for Havre. Again, we mentioned that they lost 2 players that they really counted on. One a freshman, talking about Mohamed Al-Marsi. They say that he is really a player to watch. Tore his ACL in the first scrimmage, 5 minutes into the scrimmage. Ran into his own player and tore that ACL. He's out at least for 6 weeks, and that's pretty much the season. Good job by Edgewood collapsing. Then we mentioned also the senior who is out for the year. That's Garrett Gladfelter. Very tragic because, you know, you come to your senior year and that's when you really want to establish the memories. You played for 3 years, an underclassman, and now you're a senior. Gladfelter played lacrosse last year, got his ACL torn, you know, at that point. Looks like the rain still spattering a little bit. We see the umbrellas up around. What a brave young people out here. Maybe some like me, not quite so young, sitting out in the rain. Playing on a turf field as we are. Obviously the mud is not an issue. Footing is not a problem. You don't get the lumps and bumps you get on a grass field. We mentioned this James R. Harris Field, some county money obviously, but a lot of the money came from fundraising right here. Here's a long shot. Gonna go out of play. It'll be Edgewood ball. James R. Harris, the athletic director here, longtime athletic director, passed away tragically with a brain tumor many years ago. Rich Holly, who knew James R. Harris, the late Rich Holly, who was a teacher here and a baseball coach and all-around great guy, was the big man behind the fundraisers that raised thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to build the bleachers here on the near side and the press box. Just a great combination between the county government and the town here in Havre Grace. Probably hear some of the wind through our field mic. So the wind just occasionally, you'll get a big puff of wind coming. Here comes Edgewood. Great job defensively by Havre Grace. Maybe the Rams' best opportunity so far. They kick it high and over. Out of bounds it goes. We're now past the halfway mark of the first half. Coming inside 19 minutes, as you see, no score. Gabe Bravo to kick the ball away. Not sure whether, yeah, I guess he intended to do that. It looked like he was going to kick it long and then kicked it short. Trying to give and go, taken away by Edgewood, and now back to Havre Grace. Larson Stevens with the ball. Stevens has it taken away. Two young teams, two arch rivals, Havre Grace, Edgewood, opposite ends of the Route 40 corridor, if you will. Tim Baldwin, the Edgewood coach, his 4th year. I was talking to Tim. He's an English teacher, yearbook sponsor at Edgewood, and he said that athletic director Sarah Friedman a couple of years ago said, you know, who would like to coach boys soccer? We have an opening. And he said, I'll do it. Put his hand up, and he was chosen as the head coach and building a program with the Rams. You mentioned the Rams were 5-7 last year. 1-1, lost one against tonight's opponent. Coming out, making the save. Good job by Ogle. Not letting anything go to chance. He had his defenders around him, but he said, hey, I'll take it. We mentioned several times Ogle just a sophomore. Addie Play, the assistant coach for Havre Grace, taking over tonight in the absence of Jeff Bertney. Had a chance to talk to Jeff Bertney about our late great friend Terry Colall at Aberdeen. Terry Colall, who won a state title in basketball and a state title in soccer at Aberdeen back in the 1970s, died tragically at the age of 35 of a heart attack. We miss him terribly. Jeff Berthney says the things he's accomplished in life he owes directly to the coaching and the support of Terry Colall. Jeffrey retired as the director of recreation for the County Parks and Rec Department about 5 years ago. I think he spent about 30 years in the rec department, did Jeff Berthney. We mentioned he's coached from 96 to 04 as head coach at Havre de Grace, and from 16 until now as the head coach of the boys varsity soccer program. Battling for the ball. Edgewood retains. Taken away now by Havre de Grace. Good job by Caleb Scarborough getting in there and taking it away. Oh, nice job coming out by Davis, the goalie. Just came out and boomed that ball about half the field. Goes out of bounds, but that's called reversing the field. Now Havre de Grace has to set up and go again. Edgewood on the attack. From the Warriors, that's Stevens. Gets the ball over to Scarborough. Now taken away by Edgewood. Rams looking for an opportunity. Reversing field. Coming back, Ogle out to make the easy pickup. Ashton Ogle, sophomore goalie. Well, if you're a coach for Havre de Grace, I should say, having Ogle 2 more full years as the netminder really gives you a feeling of confidence. Havre de Grace loses the ball. Come the Rams. Trying to get to the ball before it goes out of bounds. Yep, he said, yeah, he was able to save it. Take it away now. That was Anakin Wellington, number 2 for Edgewood, who watched the ball go out of bounds. Official said, no, 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 come back here with me. No cheating. Subs coming in for Havre de Grace. Looks like it's Austin Terry, number 8, in for the Warriors. Edgewood. Now Havre de Grace intercepts. There's Terry. Good pass by Terry. Has a man open. 1-on-1 with the goalie. Oh, and he shoots it right at the goalie, Davis. Maybe if he had taken it another stride or two, made the goalie commit. But good job by Davis to come out, cut down the angle. That's probably the best scoring opportunity for either team so far. 12 minutes, 24 seconds and counting as you see. Here come the Rams. Havre de Grace takes it away. Trying to get it out of play. It stays in. Rams keep possession. Good footwork. Nice diving play by Ogle. Ogle shows that he is experienced even though he's only a sophomore, and he knows what he's doing, has confidence. You can see how he sort of controls that defense. Here comes Edgewood. looking to try to reverse the field. Stays in play and now kicked out of play. Is that going to be a corner? It looks like it. Nope, it's going to be a throw in. Rams keep possession, and they will still have the ball. Nope, they're going to give it to Havre Grace. Referee Scott Ryan says we'll go the other way. Short kick in by the Warriors. Larson Stevens, number 11, gets it back to the goalie. Nice passing by Havre Grace. If there's been a difference in the team so far, it has been the Warriors' ability to pass the ball. A nice defensive job, falling down, trying to draw the penalty and not able to do it. Good defensive job. See if you see the number of that defender taking away the one-on-one. Yeah, it's number 12 for Edgewood. And that's Victor Finley. Finley who made the great play. Cut him off. Warrior player went down as if he had been knocked down, but the officials very wisely, and there is a push down. Havre Grace will take possession. Back to that play, the officials could have called it. It would have been the wrong call and would have given Havre Grace the chance that perhaps they didn't deserve on a great defensive play. You can see our camera with a few of those raindrops on, and now even more. Here's a shot. Nope, take it away. And that's going to be just wide. A wide open net. We were showing you our director, Dennis Cassidy, and our camera guys. They're braving the weather conditions out there. The rain has picked up now, and it's falling rather hard. How you like that for a meteorologically word? Here's a replay. You'll see how that is a wide open net and a chance for Havre Grace to score, unable to do so. Have patience. We're told the replay is coming. There it is. See how there is nobody in the net. That ball just a bit wide. That couldn't have been more than 1 or 2 feet wide. Good job there in the booth catching that replay. Again, you see the raindrops coming down now. It's going to be that kind of night where all night long it's going to drizzle, and then it's going to rain fairly hard, and then it's going to dry up. The wind's going to blow a little bit. Here comes Edgewood. Still with the ball. Unable to get a good foot on it. Down goes the goalie, Ogle. He's able to make the save. You can see that even this turf field is getting just a little bit slicker. Oh, great effort, unable to keep it in. That was Noah Beelman who made that attempted bicycle kick, if you will. No score, clock running inside 8 minutes left in the first half. No score. Havre Grace has had a couple of close opportunities, unable to convert. Coming out of the game momentarily is Nate Burton. You can see the wetness, part of that sweat, part of that the rain coming down. It's one of those humid nights that you will tend to sweat a lot. Temperature is probably in the 70s at this point. So it's not at all uncomfortable if you're playing actively. If you're sitting in the stands, on the other hand, or if you happen to be one of our camera people, that's called dedication. I want to thank Heather Crawford, the athletic director here. They just resurfaced the track. You may be able to see that as you're panning the shot. That meant that we couldn't take our van on that track, so she made arrangements for us to be able to park close enough to be able to run our cables to give you these nice shots that the HarfordTV always gives you. And there you see where the van is, parked as close as they could to be able to run. And of course, allow me to be in this nice, dry, warm, oh, sorry, I don't mean to rub that in, camera folks. But it's a beautiful place to view a game from. Here come the Rams. Taken away by Havre Grace. Again, we said it a couple of times too. a perfect, and there's a whistle, a perfect combination of government and the community coming together to build something nice. This James R. Harris Field, constructed maybe, what, 20 years ago, and improvements being made as the years have gone along. James R. Harris, the late great athletic director here, football coach, took his team to a state title back in the 1970s. There you see some of the brave people braving the weather here at Havre de Grace. Edgewood. Warriors able to kick it out of there. Coming up on the 5-minute mark. Rams keeping the pressure on. Been a very evenly played and cleanly played game. Well officiated. Edgewood now. Rams open. Ogle. Ball was in front of the net. That was Sebastian Ayala, number 1, the senior for Edgewood, who was doing all that fancy footwork carrying the ball. It looks like we're going to have a corner kick coming up for the Rams. Clock running inside 5 minutes. This is Ayala, young man we mentioned just a moment ago, ready to put it in play. Just a bit high and over the attempted header by the Rams. It'll go out of bounds, and Havre de Grace will take possession. Trying to wipe the ball off there. That's Troy Brandenburg, number 13. Coming out of the game momentarily for Havre de Grace, Erica Landy. No, check that, Owen Hausman, number 22 for Havre de Grace. Good job kicking it out. Havre de Grace trying to reverse field, got a man coming down the side, but great defensive job by Edgewood. You saw 3 or 4 of those white shirts collapsing on the Ram offensive player. These two teams very evenly matched, you can tell, and both with a lot of skill. I'm impressed with both teams. Neither team able to mount a great offensive challenge, but defensively they played well. Ball stays in play. Here comes Havre de Grace, looking for a shot. Off the defender and back to the goalie Davis. Now whistle blows. Let's see what that's all about. Havre de Grace player down. Officials taking a timeout here to check on Aiden McRoberts, the senior, number 4, one of the captains of the team, along with the other senior, Matthew Rutherford. Aiden is not busy enough playing lacrosse. He plays golf and also works at Chick-fil-A. 3rd year. 12 years he's played soccer. Played on that Churchville soccer team that finished 20th in the state. There you see him. He looks like he's going to get a little bit of a breather. Maxwell Herman, number 15 in the ball game for Edgewood. Clock stopped momentarily at 3:03, as you see. Official talking to the goalie. I have no idea what that conversation is all about. That's a nice close-up there of Scott Ryan. Scott said, "You can tell us apart because I am the good-looking one." No, actually, he didn't say that. Robert Ranieri. That was my little joke I made. Come the Rams. Anakin Wellington, number 2 for Edgewood. Ram ball coming up now on the 2-minute mark. We're 40-minute halves, so we have 40 minutes remaining, and our director and the crew will be happy to hear there will be overtime if the game ends in a tie. Our crew roots for overtime, especially on a rainy night. They say, oh, please, let the game end in a tie so we can go to overtime. Dennis, isn't that what they say? No, not quite. Again, I'm missing my partner, Ray Roos, who's not with us tonight. He has a neck/back issue that we are keeping our fingers crossed and hoping that it's not something serious, that he can get improvement and be able to be comfortable and rejoin us here in the booth. Coming up on the 1 minute mark left in the half. Edgewood with an opportunity. Chasing the ball down. It's going to go out of bounds, and Havre Grace is saying it's our ball. Let's see if it is, and indeed it is. The time this kick occurs will be inside 1 minute. We are closing seconds of the first half. It's been a very exciting, well-played, and competitive first half, but no scoring. Inside 40. Good job coming in and make the defensive play. Larson Stevens, number 11. We've called his number quite a bit here tonight, just the sophomore. Here comes the play coming out and kicking it away. Good job by Davis. To kick that ball away with 20 seconds left. Gets back in the goal. It looks like, unless we have some sort of a miracle goal, that we're going to go to the halftime tied at zip. Clock continues to run. Edgewood ball. Nope. Officials say nope. They blow the whistle. Clock stops. No, the clock is running. 3, 2, 1, and that is the end of the first half. Nothing to score. Very competitive, as we said, very well played and very well officiated game. We're going to take a break here and get everybody dried off a bit. We'll come back with the second half action, another 40 minutes of action, and maybe some overtime as well. Don't go away. We'll be back in a moment. Grace High School, Don Morrison, bringing you the action here from James R. Harris Memorial Stadium in the River City. Havre Grace and Edgewood tied at 0-0 as we begin the second 40 minutes of regulation. They'll switch around. Edgewood will be going in the white uniforms from right to left, and Havre Grace in the maroon home uniforms going from left to right. We're underway here. 40 minutes, as we said, left in the regulation. We will play it. We believe it's 2 5-minute overtime sudden death if we were to end in a tie. One of these two teams being Edgewood already has a tie. They tied 2-2 last Thursday against Dundalk. They lost to Aberdeen by 5-2. We mentioned that the common opponent, Aberdeen, Havre Grace was playing Aberdeen last night, this being a Wednesday night on Tuesday night, and the lightning came. Here comes a chance. Taken away by the Edgewood Rams just as goalie Davis was coming out to make the play. One of his defenders said, I'll just kick it out of bounds and we'll give Havre Grace a corner kick. So the Warriors will. Aiden McRoberts, number 4. Along with number 9, Caleb Scarborough. Going to be the short kick. Edgewood kind of wise to that play. Looks like McRoberts came around almost like the give and go in basketball. Edgewood was wise to it, intercepted the ball, and put it the other way. Havre Grace back into the attack zone. We mentioned Jeff Bertney, the head coach of Havre Grace, coached, I think, like 20 years total in two different stints, 96 to 04, and more recently from 2016 until now. A memorial service for his sister tonight. He's away. Addie Play, the assistant coach, 8 years at Havre Grace, taking over tonight. I think we mentioned that story that he is a native of Bosnia during the war there that occurred back in the late 1900s. He and his family able to escape to Germany and then came to the United States in '99. Was over here and watching a game. We'll get back to that story in a moment. Watching a game at Havre Grace and happened to make the statement, well, you know, they're misplaying that, they should do this or that. Someone said, well, if you think you can do better, why don't you volunteer to be an assistant coach? So he did. And they said, sure, come on board. This young man, Addie Play, lives in France with his wife and child most of the year, comes over to America during the soccer season to help coach the Havre Grace program. Ayala has the ball taken away. Sebastian Ayala, number 1 for Edgewood, looked like he was about ready to make a play, had the ball stripped. So with Addie Play, it's just so good to have him here. He is a soccer lifer, if you will. Back the ball comes to the goalie. Inside the goalie circle. He's able to pick it up with his hands, not have to kick it out. Now he'll boom the ball out. We were out walking around at halftime, and the rain had relented for the moment. It's sort of been like that all night, where it stops for a while, and then we get drizzle. And there for a while, maybe 5 minutes, we had some really serious rain shower. Been kind of like that all day here in the River City area. Warrior player was thinking about letting it go out of bounds, but he thought, no, I better go ahead and kick it out. So he did. Edgewood will retain possession on the kick. Good header by Havre Grace to stop the momentum of that attack. Havre Grace had an open net a couple of times, unable to convert. The closer of the two teams to be able to score. Neither team really had a very close opportunity. There's a shot in front of goal, but it's deflected. Out of play. We'll go to Edgewood. The Rams, official says, wait. I have to blow my whistle. I have to let you know we're ready to play. Now we're ready. Good defensive play by that middle backer. As Terry Caldwell used to say, head down so the ball doesn't get elevated. We mentioned Terry Caldwell, the late great Terry Caldwell, because of his close connection to Jeff Bertney, the head coach of Havre Grace. Again, Jeff said it's one of those things where Terry Caldwell is responsible for anything he's accomplished in his life, and that's just so heartwarming to hear how coaches have an effect not only during the time you're playing for them, but in the years to come. Comes Edgewood, looking for an opportunity. Javeth Agabesi, number 11. Down goes Agabesi, and let's see what the officials call. Good sportsmanship. The Havre Grace player bending over and saying, you know, hope you're okay. Hayden McRoberts, and he is up under his own power. No, he's still on the ground. I apologize that he trying to get a number we're unable to see just momentarily. Looks like a timeout on the field, and they are going to call the medical people out. Again, we say this every time we do a game, that back when I was coaching in the dark ages, where the coach was the medical person, Now they have an on-staff ready to come out medical certified person. And that's exactly what's happened here. Looks like the player able to get up on his own. That is Javith Agabesi, the senior. Looks like that left shoulder maybe be a little bit of the problem. Went down hard on that left side and maybe jammed the shoulder just a bit. Jesus Hernandez, number 16, in the ball game for the Rams. Oh, nice play by Havre to get it out of there. Edgewood though retains. Here they come. Good job by Edgewood marking Mensa, number 10, controlling the ball. Now down goes an Edgewood player. There will be a free kick coming up. Rams 0-1-1 on the year. Havre de Grace 0-2. Both teams looking for their first win. Hatem Division game, it's a big one. 5 teams in the Hatem Division. You have 15 teams in Harford and Cecil. They're divided into 3 groups. Kick is going to be, hits the top bar and then headed. Boy, that ball, it has been another, 6 inches lower, maybe 3 inches lower. Ogle unable to get up to knock it down, so it hit that bar. Aberdeen a bit unfortunate that time. A lot more contact here. You'll be able to see this replay. Watch where this ball booms in. It's coming and dashed on and it bounces straight down. And then you see the attempted header that came up after it, unable to get it to go in the goal. That was Anakin Wellington, number 2, who had the chance to maybe get it to go in. It did not go in. Edgewood's first big opportunity to score. We remain scoreless. We mentioned about the Hatem Division. C. Milton Wright, Havre de Grace, North Harford, Harford Tech, and Edgewood. Those 5 teams vying for the crown in the Hatem Division. Then you have the Tidings Division, Bel Air, Patterson Mill, Falston, Aberdeen, and Joppatown. Susquehanna has Rising Sun, Bow Manor, Perryville, Elkton, and Northeast. Now, you got those 3 champions. Here comes Edgewood. Let's see if they can get a shot off. A couple people go down, no foul call. What happens is the winners of each of those divisions then join the team that has the best record that didn't win a title. So that would be the team when any of those 3 divisions that had the best record but didn't win their title, they have then a 4-way playoff for the championship of the Yuckback. Almost taken away. That ball kind of dangerously out in front of the net. You could hear the Havre de Grace fans urging their team, don't do that. Don't put our goalie in that much danger. Fans are very hardy fans. Looking around, there's probably 50 or more fans braving the weather conditions. JV game played right before this one. Nope. Looks like Edgewood pushed the man down. 2-2 was the tie game for the JV game before this one. That went into overtime. Right now, don't want to jinx either team, but we're coming up on the 30-minute mark. Tied at 0-0. If there is overtime, we're given to understand there are 2 5-minute sudden death overtimes. First team to score would win. If after 10 minutes both teams are still tied, nobody scored, then it is declared a tie. Already one of these 2 teams, that would be Edgewood, has a tie on the books this year. Dundalk last Thursday tying the Edgewood Rams at 2-2. Mentioned before, Robert Ranieri and Scott Ryan, the 2 officials, have done a whale of a job tonight, keeping the action moving but not letting it get out of hand. Little push in the back, and you don't get away with that. Not when the official's right on it. Edgewood will keep possession. There you see Mr. Scott Ryan and Mr. Robert Ranieri, the two officials. Ball bounces off the head of the Havre Grace defender. Luckily for Ogle, the goalie, it bounced off to the right. Ogle was coming out to try to make that play. His defender came out and headed the ball away from where Ogle was, but fortunately for Havre Grace, that ball went off to the right. It will be a corner kick coming up for Edgewood. Oh, great job coming out by Ogle. Ogle realized that ball was there for the taking, and he came out and took it. Again, we remind you, as sophomore, not the kind of thing you expect a young underclassman to be able to do, to take charge, but he does that. We're told by his coaches that he is a star in the making, talking of Ashton Ogle, number 88, the sophomore. Young but talented, they say. Whistle blows. Hayden McRoberts, looks like the call was going against Havre Grace. Edgewood will put the ball in play. Goalie Marlon Davis comes out, puts it down at about the, close to the 30-yard line. And will boom it away. Now he has to hustle to get back into the goal. Nope, offside is the call. Right on the spot, Scott Ryan says, "You were offside, young man." We'll turn the ball over to the Edgewood Rams. Coming up on the 27-minute mark of the second half. Booming the ball is the Edgewood Ram, Maxwell Herman, number 15. Maxwell, a senior. Look down the roster of the two teams, and Edgewood by far has the more experienced in terms of grade level. A lot of seniors and juniors on the team. Good job. The push, and two pushes, and it looks like Havre Grace will be called with unnecessary pushing. You talk about soccer and you say it's a non-contact sport. It's not really true. It's a contact sport, but not a collision sport. And there you see Havre Grace's number 21, Jacob Calderon, saying, "Who, me? I didn't touch him." Jesus Hernandez to kick the ball into the attack area. Looking for an opening. That Warrior defense swarming. Putting it back out, trying to reset. Throw in coming for Edgewood. Inside 26 left in the regulation. Still no score, as you see. Both teams have had opportunities. Nothing that you would say was just imminent, but neither team been able to dent the net of the other. Here comes Havre Grace looking for an opening. Goalie coming all the way out. Davis booms the ball with that right foot. And that's taking a big chance to come out all the way to about the 25-yard line with the goal wide open. Knew what he was doing, Davis, a junior. Good fake and go by Edgewood. Ball out of bounds, Havre Grace on the throw in. Great shot of Larson Stevens on the throw in. Larson, the sophomore, played, we were told, I should say, just about every minute as a freshman last year. So when you talk about being a sophomore, yeah, in grade-wise he is, but he certainly has now the experience. Taken away by Edgewood, good defensive play. McRoberts. getting the ball. And now a little bit in your face that time, and rushing in as the captain to say, yeah, cleared away. Just a very nice, hard play. They're going to give the ball to Havre Grace. Edgewood not happy about that call. McRoberts, Aiden McRoberts, one of the captains. Davis back in the goal. McRoberts now will turn it over to Caleb Scarborough, number 9. See what kind of play that number 9 and number 4 have worked out. There it is. Looking for the left foot. Oh, good bang out of there. That was Davis. Davis said, I can't catch it, but I'm going to bat it out of there with the 2 fists, and that's exactly what he did. Well done by Havre Grace to play from Scarborough to McRoberts. Fans getting into it now. Chilly, not so chilly, but a rainy Wednesday night in the River City. Come the Warriors. Good pass through. Davis picks it up. Boy, both these teams have just played defensively very, very well. Anytime the other team gets a chance, 2 or 3 of the defensive team come to make the play. Now the give and go. Here comes Edgewood. 1 man to beat. Nope. What are they calling? Offside? Edgewood, the Edgewood coaching staff not happy at all about that offside call. Coach Tim Baldwin and Coach Carlos Alvarez. Alvarez in his 3rd year, Baldwin in his 4th year. Coach Alvarez teaches at Edgewood Middle School. Coach Baldwin is an English teacher and a yearbook sponsor at the high school. Oh, that's got to be a foul. They let the ball go. I'm not sure if they had blown it dead. Normally they allow the play to go if the team has possession. Now they're going to, looks like the card is going to come out. So Edgewood will be playing a man down here. That card going against Jesus Hernandez. Jesus will come out. Not sure if it's a minute or 2. Probably a good play on the part of Hernandez, because it looked like Havre Grace just about ready to break through 1 on none, 1 on the goalie. Hernandez took his man down. Good job by official Ryan there, right on the spot. And now the penalty kick coming up for Havre Grace. Again, it's that combination of McRoberts along with number 9, Scarborough. This time Scarborough back to McRoberts. Roberts, the left footer, a bit wide. McRoberts again with that strong left foot. You don't see a lot of left footers, in high school, just like you don't see a lot of left-handed pitchers. So when you get somebody who has an excellent left foot like that, it's a whole different look for the defense. Here you see Marlon Davis, I'm sorry. Marlon Davis, a junior. Outstanding job in the net for Edgewood. Left foots it out of there. Up to his player. Good job getting around 1 man. Now down the sideline. Edgewood with a chance. Oh, Havre Grace with a great defensive play, and now the whistle blows, and they're going to turn the ball over to Havre Grace. Maybe it was offside. Nope, they've got a player down on the far side. Robert Ranieri, the official on the far side, calling a stop to play. One of the Havre Grace players down. Medical personnel. Athletic trainer coming over. Check on the young man. Didn't see what happened there. Both teams coming off the field. kind of a hush coming over the crowd. Anytime you see a young man, in this case, go down, and happy to see him get up under his own power. Looks like it's number 9, Caleb Scarborough, the junior, limping just a bit, being able to walk off on his own power. Gets a nice hand from the partisan fans, and now he's jogging off. Good job, good to see. Caleb will come out for a while and hopefully be back in. Getting the appreciation from his teammates. It's a great thing about being on a team, and I know most of you have been on teams of some sort, either athletic or maybe at work or whatever. You depend on each other, and you really feel for each other because you know what you're going through. You know how difficult it is. These two teams, again, Hatem Division opponents. Teams located, what, about maybe 10, 15 miles apart along Route 40. Traditional long-time opponents. Coming up on the halfway mark of the second half. Moving the ball into the attack zone. Davis comes out, makes the save. Davis has shown a nice foot all night long. Slips by the Havre Grace defender. Here comes Edgewood with a chance, all by himself. No, just a bit wide to the right. Whoa, there was the best opportunity of the night for the Edgewood Rams. Netminder came out to try to cut down the angle. The ball hit nice and low. Not sure from my angle how wide it was. Could have been more than a couple of feet. Here you'll see this replay. Breaking free. Is that Ayala? It is. Streaking and shoots it, and that ball would have been in, but no. Just about a foot, maybe 2 feet wide. That's called dodging a bullet. Netminder Ogle was well out of the box. So now the two teams are even in having a wide open net, unable to hit it. Kicking it out of bounds is Edgewood. It'll be a throw-in coming for Havre Grace. Nick Roberts trying to center the ball. Be taken away by Edgewood. Here's Ayala. This young man is so quick. Down go the players. Let's see what they call. Both players are remaining down too. That was quite a collision. Robert Ranieri coming over. Havre Grace player remaining down. Sebastian Ayala comes over to talk to one of the officials. I'm going to hazard a guess who it is or what exactly happened. Two players colliding, traveling pretty much at full speed. We talked a few moments ago about, they say soccer is not a contact sport. It certainly is. Football more a collision sport with all the padding. Soccer, there is a lot of contact, and sometimes it's at top speed when players run together. Clock stopped at 17:55 left in the second half. Each team has had a close opportunity. There you see the back of Addy Play. Addy, the young man we talked about who is taking over tonight as head coach in Jeff Burtoney's absence. Players up and walking off the field under his own power. Gets a nice hand from the fans. Now it's going to be a free kick coming up. Sebastian Ayala, the senior, number 1. Young man has shown so much quickness. And you talk about size. Size in soccer. Ayala just small and quick. Here's the penalty kick and knocked away by Havre Grace. Takes a lot of bravery to stand there and be able to head that ball out when it's traveling the speed it is. Ball still in the attack zone. That's Eric Landy, number 22. Eric will take the ball, and here comes a penalty kick. I'm sorry, a corner kick. Edgewood seems to have applied more pressure here in this second half than has Havre Grace. Boy, well kicked right in front of the net. Is it a goal? No, it's not. Ogle is able to make the save. What a job by Havre Grace. It looked for all the world like that ball was going to go in. But Ogle, the sophomore, making a brilliant save and touching off a celebration here in the stands for the Warrior fans. You'll be able to see this. Watch how the defenders for Havre Grace are able to make the play. And Ogle directing things. Remember, just a sophomore. Here it is in the opening. Kick knocked away, and finally Ogle diving on it. And you can see the celebration going on by Havre Grace. That was Matthew Rutherford, one of the captains, number 5. Talked about him earlier being a player for 11 years. Started the last 2 years, now his 3rd year for Havre Grace. He was a goalie back in the day, was Matthew Rutherford. Now converted to be a field player. He's a black belt in Taekwondo. By the way, his brother Ben also plays on the Havre Grace team. Good little backwards kick by Edgewood to kick it out of play. Coming up on the 16-minute mark now, no scores. Both teams have had opportunities. Edgewood probably the better opportunities recently. Havre Grace maybe the better opportunities in the first half. Okay, are they saying it's a goal? Yeah, let me check that. Pardon me, I'm going to step away and check that. Okay, take that away. I apologize. It is a goal for Edgewood. The Rams were able to score that goal at, let's see, the clock is running at about 15. That goal came at about 16 minutes. So Edgewood does lead 1-0. It looked like Ogle had been able to fall on the ball, but maybe he was across the goal line. Maybe later on, if we get a break, maybe the crew can run that again. So 1-0, Edgewood leading. Thank you, Booth, and thank you, Heather. It looked like to me that Havre Grace is celebrating that they had made the stop, but apparently they were showing their disdain that the ball had gone in. So the Rams have taken a 1-0 lead here as we go past the 15-minute mark. Try to get the number of the person who scored for Edgewood. Checking with Heather Crawford, the AD, and she said she was not able to see who it went off of. It was a scrum, if you will, of a bunch of the Edgewood players and Havre Grace players. It looked like that Ogle had fallen on the ball, but again, perhaps it had crossed the goal line by that time. In any event, it is 1-0 Edgewood. Here come the Rams with another chance. Kicks it out of play, does the defender. Rams will have the throw in. As we mentioned, Havre Grace seemed to have the upper hand in the first half, but it has been Edgewood with the offensive thrust here in the second half. We'll try to get the player who scored that goal. Did you see who scored the goal for Edgewood? Yeah, we're asking, and everybody's saying, yeah, we saw them all bunched up. If we don't know who got credit. We're not anywhere near the official scores table, so we'll try to find that out for you before too long. Right now, Havre Grace looking to try to tie this game up. Obviously, Edgewood would love to score another goal to put a little insurance on it. Both teams looking for their first win of the year. Havre Grace coming in at 0-2, Edgewood at 0-1-1, one tie. Here come the Rams again. Ball is open, front of the net. Ogle out to scoop it up. Yeah, we're all standing here about 50 yards or more away from the goal and saying we're not sure who in that scrum was able to knock it over the goal line. Edgewood player down. Didn't see exactly what happened, but a Ram player is now injured. Looks like he's going to be able to get up under his own power and say, I'm okay. Boomed out of there by goalie Davis. Contact, and it'll go against Havre Grace. So the Warriors right now are not happy with the officiating. Now the ball is kicked out of bounds, and let's see what the officials say. Are they going to say an unsportsmanlike? It looks like it's going to be a card coming out against Havre Grace. Bit of frustration there on the part of the Warriors. You can tell they did not think that goal had been scored. They thought they had made the stop. So now they'll be playing a man down for the next minute. Ayala, Sebastian Ayala, who's played extremely well on the front line for Edgewood. Keep wanting to say Aberdeen. Ayala. Ogle. Here comes Ogle. Not desperation time just yet for the Warriors, but they again down with that goal. Intercepted. Out of bounds, it'll stay with Havre Grace. Battling for the ball. That was Nate Burton, number 6 for the Warriors. McRoberts to make the throw in. Push from behind. Havre Grace will have the free kick coming up. You can see the intensity picking up there on the field. Two arch rivals, Edgewood and Havre Grace. We go back over the years, be it basketball or whatever sport you want to talk about. They've been competitors. Warriors, one of the smaller schools in the county as a 1A school. They kick a bit high and wide. And it looks like the Havre Grace player kicked the ball in it, and hopefully it's nothing more than a cramp. You can see Ayala coming over to try to help his opponent. Here comes the medical team on the field, and they're backing up Sebastian Ayala. Great sportsmanship. He saw the young man, his opponent, in pain, and there you see Addie Play, the Havre Grace assistant coach, taking over tonight in the absence of Jeff Berthney. Concern now, looks like the young man just kicked the ball, and we're hoping it's nothing more than a cramp. And that looks like it might be trying to put some pressure, being helped off the field. Not wanting to put any weight at all on that right leg. In obvious pain. You can see the crowd kind of hushed now, and everybody concerned about the health of that young player for Havre Grace. So here we go now, the inside 10 minutes. Warriors finding themselves down by a goal. Edgewood getting that goal, that scrum goal, if you will, where there were bodies out in front of the goal, and the ball apparently went across the goal line. Not sure who they're going to give credit to the goal scoring. Ogle ended up with the ball, the goalie for Edgewood, but apparently the official said no, that ball had crossed the goal line. Here comes Edgewood, another chance. Waiting, now kicks it. Good defensive job by Havre Grace. Being able to take away the angle. Edgewood offensive player looking to try to get that quick angle, but the Havre Grace player just simply was not going to let him get the inside. Rams coming up with another corner kick. Scoreboard showing that 1-0 lead for Edgewood. Oh, the ball had a chance, and you could see the Edgewood player very disappointed with himself, trying to one-time it out of the air to get it into the net, but it went high over the bar. Ogle had gone down. So Edgewood has really been able to put the pressure on the Warrior defense during this second half. Battle for the ball in midfield. Rams coming away with it momentarily. Now Havre Grace. Back and forth it goes. Warriors. Well, just a bit long, intercepted by Edgewood. That was Eric Landy, number 22, who made that interception, key one. Just when it appeared like Havre Grace was getting ready to make an offensive thrust. Battling, intensity, you can see it picking up. Here comes Landy. Good job getting the ball. Yeah, the Edgewood player went down, but the Havre Grace player had gotten the ball. Warriors will retain possession. Coming up to the 7-minute mark left in the game. Warriors. Intercepted by Edgewood, kicking it out of play. Clock now is the friend of the Edgewood Rams. The more time they can take off the clock, the better they'll like it. What a game this has been. Both sides having their opportunities, and the only goal so far scored at about the 16-minute mark, and we'd love to be able to tell you who they gave credit to the Edgewood Rams for scoring, but nobody up here in the press box has any idea. We'll try to get that for you before the game is over. Larson Stevens to put the ball in play on the corner kick. Yep, he hit it low into the side of the net. It looked like he was trying to dribble the ball in front of the net, but hooked it just a little bit too much. Marlon Davis pitching a shutout right now for the Rams. You can hear the wind in our field mic still gusting from time to time. The rain. Here comes Havre Grace. Oh, good job by Edgewood, the defender, to dive and knock it out of play. Don't want to jinx it to say the rain seems to have stopped for the time, but I see the umbrellas have disappeared in the stands. Here comes a corner kick for Havre Grace, down by that 1-0. Nate Burton, checking not Burton, but Caleb Scarborough. Intercepted by Edgewood. Back in it comes Davis. Like a fly ball to a center fielder. Davis comes out, makes the catch. In no hurry. Clock now winding inside 5 minutes. Rams taking it. Interception made by Havre Grace. That's Gabe Bravo, number 15. Running for the ball. Good center, open, shot, high. Unable to make the ball down low enough to make the goal. That was a good give and go opportunity. Just not able to convert. That again, a great opportunity for Havre Grace to equalize, but the ball just wouldn't stay down. Very, very difficult to get it to go as low as you wanted to go. Davis was one-on-one. Now inside 4 minutes. Now we talk about desperation time, and it certainly is getting to be that for Havre Grace. Down goes the Edgewood player. Play on. No penalty called. Again, open, head, goal. Let's see. No, the officials say no goal. The officials waved it off, and Havre Grace cannot believe it. That ball headed in for the goal, but nope, the official on the near side said that ball was no good, not a goal. So here you'll see the replay. It looks like it might be, yeah, it looks like it's going to be offside is the call. So take the goal away. Unbelievable. Havre Grace simply puts their hands up saying we were not offside. There you see it. Clearly offside. Yep, he was that. Maybe about a yard offside. Great job, guys. Our camera crew and director showing you exactly why that goal was not good. The Warrior, you can tell the Warrior fans and the coaches and the players, disappointed. Calls going against them. Calls, the correct calls, it appears. But the close ones all going against the home team right now. 2:25 and counting left in this game. 1-0 the lead. Oh, just over the net. Ogle back to try to knock it down, but it was a little bit long. Clock still running at 2:10. Edgewood happy to see the clock running. Inside 2 minutes. Right now, all Edgewood wants to do is keep the ball at midfield. Keep Havre Grace out of the scoring area as the clock ticks at 1:45 and more. Talk about instant classic games. This is a game that I think both schools will be talking about for a while. Well played on both sides, competitively so. We thought that these two teams would be equally matched, and they certainly have been. Havre Grace dominating the first half, Edgewood dominating the second half, getting that goal at the 16-minute mark. Kicked out of bounds, but that doesn't help. Edgewood retains possession, coming up on 1 minute left in the game. Clock stops at 1:05. Injured Edgewood player. Looks like the same young man who had the shoulder problem before. That would be Javith Agabesi. Now we're underway. Now inside 1 minute. At this moment now we're inside a minute. Havre Grace about 75 yards away from the scoring area. Here they come, crossing midfield. Maybe their last opportunity. 3 defenders on 1 offensive player. Here comes Davis out. He's going to retreat and now pick up the ball and hit in the, but no flag goes down or no penalty. Davis says, I'll take my time, and now kicks it away with 30 seconds left. Counting down. Havre Grace in no hurry. I should say Edgewood in no hurry. Havre Grace helping the Edgewood player up. Clock continuing to run with 18 seconds, 17, and now 15. Boy, it looks like the Rams are going to come away with a 1-0 win here on their opponent's field in River City. Edgewood will win this game by a final score of 1-0. The only goal of the game scoring at the 16-minute mark left in the game. That occurring in a big scrum in front of the Warrior net, where it appeared like Ogle had made the save, but the officials ruled apparently that the ball had crossed the goal line. So the win will go to Aberdeen. I said Aberdeen, didn't I? The win will go to Edgewood. The Rams now are at 1-1. They've got 1 win, 1 loss, and 1 tie. For the Warriors, they fall to 0-3. Havre Grace facing Aberdeen tomorrow night. It'll be the replay of that game from last night where the lightning stopped it, and so Havre Grace will have an immediate opportunity to pick up that first win of the year. But right now, they are 0-3. Hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did. It was a very competitive, well-played, intense game, one where Havre Grace seemed to dominate the first half, unable to score. Edgewood, turned it around in that second half and was able to score that 1 goal at the 16-minute mark. Don Morrison, happy that you could be with us. Again, our final score from Havre Grace, it is the Edgewood Rams 1 and the Havre Grace Warriors 0. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back again with more sports for you in the coming days. Good night, everyone.